the wool shock of 1966, the collapse of the wool industry, 131% rise in unemployment. These are the headlines that dominated New Zealand media in the 1960s. Out of the blue, wool, the heritage industry of New Zealand, had completely collapsed. Kia ora koutou katoa. My name is Logan Williams, and I have a vision for the future of agriculture. Today, I'd like to take you all on a journey, showing you firsthand how we can alter and revolutionise our agricultural industry, but also, more importantly, show the challenges we face if we continue to focus on commodities and why wool is a cautionary tale. Throughout history, wool followed a similar business structure to all agriculture. Hard-working farmers would produce world-class wool that was processed and sold to customers. Let's be clear, our wool was a fantastic product, but it was a commodity, plain and simple. And like all commodities, wool was subject to radical price fluctuations and a constant fight to the bottom between suppliers. See, by definition, a commodity market forces suppliers to produce maximum production at the lowest possible price. So if someone else can do it cheaper, you have no choice but to play along. The wool industry was not totally blind to the risks of a commodity market. They invested in incremental innovation like carpets, upholstery, and clothing, but they failed to create any truly revolutionary inventions. And then DuPont invented nylon, the world's first synthetic fibre. Suddenly, any factory around the globe could produce fabric at a tenth of the price of wool, to any specification and at an industrial scale. Wool as a mega global industry had been disrupted and was now left in a reeling collapse. Since 1966, the wool price has sadly continued to decline, to the point where it now costs $1 New Zealand for a kg of wool. In effect, that means that it costs more to shear the sheep than the price received for the wool. I've heard crazy stories of farmers breeding sheep that either no longer need shearing or in extreme cases burying their wool in the ground. Many people say, wool's an anomaly, it could never happen anywhere else. But I completely disagree. I believe it is the precedent. Half a century on, industry disruption is becoming more and more common, and it's not only in the commodity space. Overnight, new technologies enter the market and turn household brands upside down. From Amazon in retail to Tesla in vehicles and Zoom in the way we communicate, it is now common for startups to create revolutionary inventions that disrupt entire global industries. You may scoff at the likes of impossible meats or synthetic milk, but it's only a matter of time before each and every one of our commodities is disrupted. If we remain flat-footed, we will watch helplessly as the world passes us by and we become a part of history. Therefore, it is essential that we invest ahead of the curve and disrupt ourselves. Right, let's define the future of agriculture. But how? Every overpaid executive in a suit will tell you that the future of agriculture is making the transition from volume to value. But what does that actually mean? And how the heck do we do that? Well, it's simple. We follow a formula. And the formula is this. We pick a market segment, identify the most lucrative brand in that segment, and create a competing product with two key characteristics. It must be price comparable to the leading brand, and it has to have one clear, compelling competitive advantage, whether it's packaging, performance, story, brand, as long as it's a clear differentiator, giving the company a competitive advantage. A company applying this formula in the real world is Zuru. Zuru is an international corporation owned by New Zealanders Matt, Nick, and Anna Mowbray. Zuru had incredible success as a billion-dollar toy company, but wanted to explore other product opportunities. So they looked at Procter & Gamble, one of the biggest consumer companies in the world, and they asked themselves, is there a product in this range that is entrenched market position and could be easily disrupted? And they found one, Pampers. Pampers is the world's #1 nappy brand, with over 40% of the $47 billion market. Pampers has one main competitor called Huggies, which has around 37%. The Mowbrays thought that there was an opportunity here, so they created Rascal and Friends nappies. premium nappies at an affordable price. It worked. Rascal & Friends is now one of the biggest nappy brands worldwide and can be found on shelves all around the world, creating an estimated $100 million in revenue each year. After this success, they invested in Monday Hair Care, taking on the likes of Head & Shoulders. And they did it again with nude pet food, taking on the likes of Purina. In fact, they literally describe their work as creating innovative, disruptive brands in big, stodgy consumer brand categories. Zuru has proven that it's not only possible to challenge these mega corporations, but you can win. Sounds simple, right? But of course, it's not at all. It's one thing for me to stand here and say, just come up with a company with a big difference. It's another thing entirely to actually go out and do it. At the end of the day, talk is cheap. It's all about execution and delivery. And to be honest, I've never created big consumer brands before. I'm not an entrepreneur, I'm an inventor. I've invented polarized contact lenses to treat epilepsy. I've invented a device to destroy methane. I've invented a device to vaporize liquid medication. And I've invented the method to turn Didymo algae into materials. So I asked myself, what is an invention that I could create that would provide a platform for brand owners and product developers right around the world to create innovative, disruptive technologies? And the answer is simple: plastic. Plastic, specifically the plastic that goes into hard products like cladding, furniture, and vehicles, is a major problem. The world has now awoken to the devastating ecological effects of plastic, with an estimated 300 million tons of plastic produced each year. But what if we could replace it? More importantly, what if we could replace it in a way that doesn't require any changes in the supply chain, meaning that we could create a competitive alternative to plastic that was good for both people and planet? So what if we could make these same pellets with the same properties that could go in the same machines and make the same products, but instead of plastic, the pellets were made out of wool? Well, that's exactly what we've done. In partnership with New Zealand Merino and Ministry of Primary Industries, we have developed Shear Edge, which uses our Keravos technology, taking any type of wool, dags, bellies, sides, pieces or fleece, and bonds it with polymers to create pellets. These humble, simple pellets are the building block of every product you see around you, meaning that any company can simply take our pellets and integrate it into their factory without changing a single thing. In fact, it has been scientifically proven that adding wool to the products makes them stronger, lighter weight, more sustainable, and not to mention the fact that the wool looks cool in the product. This enables us to shift huge volumes of wool, but more importantly, we return a wool price of $5 New Zealand back to the grower. Better yet, we are utilising what is considered a waste product for the industry. So we're going from the likes of dags at 30 cents all the way up to $5 New Zealand, which is hugely profitable for the farmer. Shear Edge will champion sustainability, not only in the garment industry, but in hundreds of new unexplored products previously thought impossible. But it's not just the wool industry that benefits. In effect, we're making it possible for any brand or any company to use the formula I previously described. By using our material, they can actively disrupt their industry and create something completely new. In a short time span, we've built an entire pellet plant in Hamilton. We've received an international patent with AJ Park. We've trialled multiple products, and we've onboarded 17 world-class brands to use our material. This year, we are launching the world's first woolen cladding with Dynax, a woolen cooler bin with Yeti, a woolen kayak with Phoenix, and wait for it, the world's first woolen catamaran. One of our boats alone enables us to replace 40 kg of plastic. That is the equivalent of 7,000 plastic bags. Ultimately, these amazing brands that we are partnering with is going to enable us to benchmark our material as a high-end, high-performance brand. I started this talk by describing the collapse of the wool industry. The commodity market never recovered, but we have an opportunity to redefine the wool business. Imagine what we could do with the likes of milk powder. What can we do to shift our most commodified industries into the high-value space? We could reduce vulnerability, increase profits, increase resilience, and maybe, just maybe, tackle one of the biggest problems facing our world today. My name is Logan Williams, and I have a future for New Zealand agriculture. A future where farmers are paid fairly for their work. A future where we move from volume to value, creating beautiful, durable products that are good for both people and planet, by replacing plastic one fibre at a time. A future for us and our children after us. Are you with me? Thank you. Yeah.